All that's great and all, but sometimes there are legitimate reasons why you need to change that behavior and may not want to or may not be able to change the emulation setting on your component. So what do you do then? That's where the vaguely violent practice of shadow piercing comes into play. Shadow piercing is just that, a way to bypass the encapsulation provided by Shadow DOM, either native or emulated, in very specific instances without making further reaching changes like changing your encapsulation settings. We do this with a CSS pseudo-selector the Angular team added called ngDeep. Largely, this was added by the Angular team as a bridge between when the popular browsers stopped supporting other older methods of shadow piercing and the new method of doing so, CSS variables. At this point, early 2018, CSS variables are supported by all current major browsers except IE 11. But there are some issues in the Angular CLI tooling that need to be worked out, so CSS variables aren't quite ready for prime-time use in our Angular apps. The Angular team is committed to keeping ngDeep around until it's no longer necessary. If you want to read more about CSS variables, there's a good write-up on Mozilla. Using ngDeep is easy. Just add the CSS pseudo-selector in front of any class you need to be able to break the Shadow DOM encapsulation. This method will eventually go away when the tooling issues for CSS variables are worked out and IE 11 is no longer a supported browser. For now, though, it's what we have, so let's go take a quick look. Shadow piercing gives me the ability to control the styling of elements on my page pretty granularly. If I go in and look at my widget, you can see I'm back to my colored blocks. I have one colored block in my parent component that is orange, and then I've got 5 other colored blocks, each in a separate child component. And right now, each of those child component style sheets make that colored block yellow. Well, we want to be able to change the color of those yellow blocks without having to go into each style sheet and change it there. So what do? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go take out the style sheet specific colors. So we'll take these out. Save everything and jump back over to my browser. When I reload that widget, all of those child boxes should now be white. Okay, so they're unstyled. Now I want to be able to change that style easily. So I can go into the style sheet for my parent component. This is the widget itself. And I'm just going to uncomment this style right here. And you can see I'm using the ngDeep pseudo-selector. If I go ahead and save this, and jump back over to my browser, when I reload that widget, the child ones are blue, the parent one is still orange. So the ngDeep said, starting at this level, pierce through the shadow encapsulation of all of my children, not me, everything below me, and apply this rule to those elements. So now when I need to change this, if I want to make them red, reload my widget, and they're all red. So that's working with shadow piercing, the ability to say, in this specific situation, I want to be able to control the styling of elements from a certain level. I want to be able to control the styling of its children. Remember, it doesn't apply to that level itself. It's everything below wherever you set the ngDeep.